right, Coyotes fans, welcome into the first episode of One on One with Luke Lapinski. Our first guest this season is, it's fitting, it's Conor Garland, who's off to a great start this year. Conor, first of all, thanks for the time, man.
No worries. Happy to be here.
It's a strange season. I know that's been talked about a lot, but now you're finally in it. You've played some games. What's it been like playing, every other night, facing the same team 4 times last week? Just kind of getting into that rhythm. Is it still just hockey, or is it a little bit different this year?
It is a little different. Sometimes, we'd have a game on a Tuesday, practice Wednesday, work on our systems, focus on our game, and then Thursday, kind of go over the next team we were playing. But it seems like it's just play. Practice is really slow, really just kind of getting a sweat, recovery, and then your morning skate and you're playing the next day. So it's almost like what the playoffs were for us in the bubble. It's definitely different, and it's going to take a lot of discipline, a lot of recovery, and some long days in the rink, getting your rest to be ready for those short recoveries, back-to-back games, stuff like that.
I don't know if everybody fully appreciates, how much practice, just having like a full practice where you can work on the power play or penalty kill or whatever, implementing something. I mean, to not have that, and I know every team is dealing with the same thing, but that is a difference maker, right? To not just be able to have a full practice and then have the next day off or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I think the one thing I miss the most is going over systems and stuff, neutral zone stuff, where it is hard. The situation that keeps coming up is, our D zone guys, coming up the wall, and you have to make a quick read. And when you work on that in practice over and over again, it tends to be a lot easier. So when you get thrown into the fire in the games, repeatedly, it's definitely a lot harder. Power play for me, it's, just your feel and stuff. If you're having a good game, usually your power play is the same way. A lot of your top offensive guys are on it, and you just, getting your touches with the puck. And the more times you do that, you'll have a better power play.
You mentioned the bubble, and, technically, I guess only the Colorado series was officially a playoff series, but you got to play a series against Nashville as well. So just that whole experience, you guys are still such a young team. I mean, have you noticed that, or do you think it will help you guys out this season?
I don't know. I never really, I guess I'm technically young in the NHL. This is my 3rd year, but I also played 2.5 years in the minors, and we had a pretty long playoff run there. So it kind of feels all the same to me. I feel like I've been playing pro hockey for a while now, so I've seen a lot of stuff. I haven't seen nearly enough, but I've seen a lot, and we grew as a group in there. Obviously, winning against Nashville was big for us to have that taste of winning, and what it felt like after that surreal feeling of, winning the playoff series with a group that's really tight. And, we want to be able to do that again. And, that definitely gave us a hunger. But, there were some learning experiences in there, learning how to close out some big time games, and also just learn how to get there. It was a grind of a season last year. And obviously playoffs were a little expanded, but we got in, and, we did what we had to do. And, now we just gotta get back in.
You guys played that 4-game series against Vegas the first, basically week and a half of the season. And I know you didn't ultimately get the result you wanted, but it seemed like, 3 of those games were very winnable. One of them you guys won, as handily as you're going to beat a team like Vegas. Did you notice how when you play a team that many times in a row, how does the game change? Is it you guys adjusting, then they adjust back? It's almost like a chess game?
No, I didn't think there was a ton of adjustments, actually. I think both teams just kind of played their game. The first game is probably the one that, stings the most. We had a chance there late, 6-on-5. Actually, I got a pass across the slot that just hopped off my stick. So that was a game that I thought we really should have won, that first one. The second one, they played a very good game. We didn't show up, and then what happened in the 4th game is unfortunate, but we played a lot better than going 1-3 against those guys, and that's why they're Stanley Cup contenders, because they can play not their best and still find a way to win. So that's what we have to start doing here. But there wasn't many changes. I think when changes come, it's usually special teams. We maybe switch out a breakout here or there, but it's hard. You can't keep switching. You're playing every other day, so you can't have too many system changes.
Just one last thing from that series. Rick Tocchet said after the fourth game, like you said, that was an unfortunate ending. But aside from that, he said, that series showed you guys you can play with that team. And you've beaten Vegas in the past, but like you said, they are one of the top, cup contenders in the league. What does that do confidence-wise for a group? Because, you guys do have a lot of other young players on this team too.
Yeah, I think they added some pieces in the offseason. Seems like they add a big piece, every year at the deadline and in the offseason. So they just keep getting better. And, it's kind of our test. A lot of teams have it, out east, a lot of teams probably test themselves against Boston and Pittsburgh, Washington. And, for us, here it's Colorado, St. Louis, and Vegas, and they're all in our division. So we got a lot of tests, and, they're probably our biggest rival. And it's nice to see where you match up against a top team like that. And, I think playing with them in Vegas where they played some pretty good games. And then obviously the last game, it was a great hockey game. It was probably a playoff game. And, like I said, we were pretty disappointed with that ending, just because, how well we thought we played and how well they played. And, you would like to see that one go to overtime, but definitely gives us confidence to know when we're playing the right way. And, we can start winning some hockey games here.
As you said, this is your third season in the NHL, a little bit of time with Tucson as well. But now, last season, you led the team in goals. You and I talked a couple weeks ago, and you said, you prepare, you try to add things to your game each offseason. So for people that maybe don't know what you did in the offseason, how did you approach this year?
Just try to become a better player. I think just trying to become a better skater was probably most importantly, work on tight turns and being more elusive behind the net. And then just adding strength where if you get engaged with the guy, you can muscle him off. And then one of the biggest things was just making a lot of plays in the summer. I think I like to play a lot of games in the summer, whether it's a pro league or a league that I have a team in with a lot of my friends. And sometimes you focus on, just scoring, just trying to get your scoring touch. And this year I focused on trying to make a lot more plays, pull up, don't shoot the puck as much from not grade A chances. So I think in a short stint here, it's gone according to plan, but it's a long season and teams will adjust, and you just have to keep evolving, become a better player each game.
Who were some of the guys you looked up to when you were growing up, ready to try and work your way towards the NHL?
Yeah, when I was really young, Sergei Samsonov. I love to watch, old clips of Theo Fleury and Marty St. Louis. And then as I became older, Brad Marchand kind of came into Boston, and that was pretty cool for me to see a team that always had bigger, slower guys adjust and bring in a smaller skill guy like that. So, he was probably the biggest at the end there. But the one thing they all had in common was, their compete level and how hard they played. And as a smaller guy, you can't be a perimeter guy as a smaller guy. You have to be, in dirty areas and be a tough guy to play against. So I think watching those guys growing up helped my game to get where it is.
What is that hockey scene like in Boston? Because you have the mix of just Boston sports fan, but then you also have like a college on every other block, and they all have great hockey teams too.
Yeah. Me and my dad were season ticket holders to Northeastern. So probably the least known out of the biggest Boston schools, but we got some good seats there. We used to go and watch, and they had some great players, and never offered me to go there, which stings, but I would have taken anything. So, but it's nice. You had the bean pot every year as a kid, and I grew up friends with Ryan Donato, who plays for San Jose now, and his dad was the head coach of Harvard. So we used to go to their games and watch a lot of their games, and we used to walk around the tunnel in between periods and stuff, and it was pretty cool. So, and obviously the Bruins were always good every year. So you're in a hockey hotbed, which you're almost thrown right into it. I didn't really have a choice.
You mentioned Ryan Donato. I mean, do you already know a lot of the guys around this league? Like, if you're not playing, are you watching friends, kind of just hoping that they succeed too?
Yeah. I text Ryan usually. I think he had 1-1 the other night, and I just text him. I was against his former team, so that was pretty good to see. That's always exciting. He's off to a good start, so I'll text him, and we played against each other, and you call him a couple days after and discuss it. So I root for him to do well, and then I grew up with Jack Eichel in Buffalo, so I root for those guys to do well. Anyone I really played with as a kid, and a couple of guys I played with, I play with now, Schmaltzy and Devo. So always good to see some guys that you grew up with, and it's nice when you run into them.
I wanted to ask you about one of the forwards that we've seen play. He played a little bit last year too, but Barret Hayton this year. I mean, again, you're only in your third year in the league. You're still a young guy. So in a lot of ways, you're still working your way up, but you did lead the team in goals last year. You're leading the way with points. I mean, does a guy like Barret Hayton ask you for advice? Do you go and tell him like, hey, maybe you do this? Or is it just kind of, you're both working your way in?
Yeah, it's not really my place. You know, if I had a question, I would go find somebody. I would never want to go and, you know, talk to somebody if they're not looking for it. You know, there's nowadays a lot of people have so many people in their corner that, you know, watch film and, you know, even outside from the team, or they talk to coaches. So for my job is just to worry about myself. If he ever came to me, I would be sure to help him, but that's not my position to go talk to him. But he's going to be a great hockey player. He's got the body for it. If you ever see him in his street clothes, he's a thick kid, and he's got good size, good speed. He's almost like what you would create a hockey player if you could. And I think every year he's just going to keep getting better. And I've played with him a few games here, probably the first four games, and he's just a smart kid. And, you know, I like playing with him. More importantly, he's a good kid that adds a nice element to our locker room.
Got the different realignment this year, and obviously all these teams try to attack winning differently. But in your mind going forward, you know, what do you want the identity to be of the Coyotes this season?
It's a good question. I think you know, you want to be a team that's hard to play against. I think you want teams to come into Arizona and, you know, not think it's you know, time to go golfing, or, you know, it's a nice, they're happy they're coming there to get some sun. You want them to come and think it's going to be hard to get 2 points. And that's really your goal is, you know, my first year, you know, we're a lot better now than we were then. So, you know, I take pride in that, and the team getting better each and every year that I'm here. And you want to be a part of a team in Arizona that, you know, is the first one to bring a Stanley Cup, and, you know, be a team that's in it every year in the playoffs, you know, from day one. So, but most importantly, that starts with just now. It's just becoming a hard team to play against. You know, don't let any teams have easy nights against you. Take pride in that.
Conor, great stuff as always, man. Thanks for the time. Good luck this season.
Thank you, Luke. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Conor Garland. This has been One-on-One with Luke Lapinski and Conor Garland. Thanks for